everyone, Chef Kim here. Well, today I'm going to show you something that's perfect for the summertime. This is a Southwestern chicken salad, and I served it in my restaurant, and it was one of the favorites of so many people. What makes this so good is my homemade jalapeno dressing. Now, this is not a fiery hot dressing. It's actually kind of a sweet and mildly hot dressing, and you can make it hotter or less hot depending on your preference. So if you have a food processor, that's what you need to make this dressing, and if you don't, you better get one, because I'm going to be showing you quite a few different salad dressings, and once you try these, you won't go back to the store-bought. I guarantee it. So anyway, you have to watch these videos. This one is a great salad one. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the marinade for this Southwest chicken salad. Adding a marinade to chicken especially works as a great preservative. I love to cut up the chicken so it's all ready to be cooked, put it in the marinade, and then it can stay that way for a couple of days. The added benefit is it adds great flavor to your chicken, but it also works as a preservative. It will eventually cook it depending on how much vinegar you put in it, but it'll be okay for a couple of days. Now, for the Southwest chicken salad, I marinate the chicken in canola oil, a little bit of rice wine vinegar, and some salsa for extra flavor. And just toss it up. I like to cut it into strips, so when I'm ready to cook it, get my pan hot and sear that chicken off. It's going to taste great just as it is. But once you put it in this salad, toss it around with some jalapeno dressing, you're going to be the hit of the lunch crowd if you make this. So anyway, stick around. Alright, now I have the pan heating. You want it to be pretty hot. So that's how you sear it. Makes a little more of a mess, but you want that nice brown color on your chicken. Spread the chicken out, and I've already cut it into strips. Now, I didn't put any oil down because they were marinating in oil, but I think I might put just a touch. Just helps it to cook a little quicker, a little better. If you don't want the excess oil, just drain it off. I'm just trying to spread it out so that none of the pieces are sitting on top of each other. But I don't really want to turn it over yet, you know, the chicken. I want to let it sit so it'll get a good color. In the meantime, I want to get some of my vegetables prepared. A lot of people have a problem with onions. Oh, I don't want onions. I don't like onions. Well, I think the biggest reason people don't like them is because they've been served onions at one point or another when they were cut too thick. Check out the gorgeous chicken. Ha! Does that look yummy or what? Because I cut these into strips, it doesn't take any time at all to cook them. Shut it off. Key is hot pan. Cooks perfect. Now, I was saying that too often people have been served onions that have been cut too thick, and that's why they don't like onion. Onions are awesome. They're so good for us. We really should eat them. But the key is to cut the onion thin. I can't get that piece off. And I have a sharp knife. So I'm going to cut, I want to cut thin rounds. But the other thing you could do, see how nice and thin that is? It's harder when it rolls like that. So it doesn't matter when you're doing it for home. It doesn't have to be a perfect round. So cut it in half so it sits flat. Now, for certain things you want to cut onions this way. For soup, like onion soup. But for this, I want to cut the onions this way. And you want to cut them as thin as you can. And that's the key. You shouldn't really have an overwhelming flavor. of onion. You can almost see through the onion. It's that thin. So, sharp knife, thin slices. We'll put the onions in there. And then the tomato. We're going to use a Roma. Doesn't really matter how you cut the tomato. I like to cut it more in a dice than into wedges. Kind of like this. But like I said, doesn't really matter. But I like to, either in a pasta or a salad, I feel like you should never have to use a knife, like to cut up something in either one of those. Everything should be totally bite-sized. The other thing we're going to use is an avocado. So let's cut this baby in half. And I use the back of a knife, if it's a sharp knife. And cut it, and then we'll just use a spoon to scoop that out. And then we're going to use romaine lettuce. Now, with romaine, I'm going to cut the top off. Romaine is such a good lettuce to use. Now, if I was cutting the whole head, I would cut here and here and then turn. But I'm not going to cut up the whole head. I'm just going to do about three or four leaves. And I don't want the bottom of it. And when people buy romaine hearts, they're missing all the good nutrients, because the best part of the romaine for you is the dark green part. And if you get the hearts, it's all the white part. So you shouldn't get that. You should get the whole heads. Now cut it into pieces. Once again, bite size. And if you don't want those, you don't need to use them. Alright, so let's put everything in the bowl. Tomatoes, the onion, our avocado, I'm going to save some of the avocado and put it on top. Now, when you eat tortilla chips, actually I'm going to put it all in. That's me, indecisive, just like a woman. We're going to put some cheese in here. And then we're going to put the dressing. Oh, one thing I forgot. We've got to put the chicken, too. Okay. And here's our jalapeno dressing. And the other thing, working in a restaurant, so often when people get a salad, they ask for the dressing on the side. And I believe I know why. Because too often, waitresses are the ones that are dressing the salads. And no disrespect to waitresses, I love them all. But they're not cooks. And they don't understand. They're just trying to get the salad out as quick as possible. So they don't know the right amount. In my restaurant, the servers never dressed the salads, ever. The cooks did. So we'll put a little dressing in. And the point to this story is, so often the servers put in too much dressing. If you do eat a salad in a restaurant, like a big lunch salad, ask that the cooks dress it, or tell them to go light on the dressing. But it'll make the salad taste so much better if you get it dressed in the kitchen. I'm sure all of you eat tortilla chips, right? Well, at the bottom of the bag, there's always crumbs. Well, that was happening in a restaurant I worked at. And I'm like, there's got to be a way we can use those crumbs. And that's where this salad came from. Now, I'm using whole chips here, and I'm going to crunch them up and put them on top. But you can also mix them in when you're tossing the salad. So we can even do that a little. That way they get some of the dressing on them. but that's what, it's like croutons. These are Mexican croutons. So then we're going to want to put a little cheese on top. And we could put a few slices of avocado on top, but even like this looks pretty good, wouldn't you say? Thanks for watching. Happy cooking.